When most people think of yoga, they picture the poses, the asanas, but the physical practice is only a small part of a much larger system. At its core, yoga is a philosophy of living, a wisdom tradition that stretches back thousands of years, guiding people toward balance, purpose, and liberation. In this video, we'll explore the foundations of yoga philosophy, the ancient texts, the 8 limbs, and the timeless insights that still matter deeply in our modern lives. Yoga philosophy is the body of teaching. Yoga philosophy is a body of teachings, practices, and insights that can explain why yoga exists, not just what it looks like. The word yoga means union, union of the body and the breath, of the mind and the spirit, of the individual with the greater whole. Philosophy gives us the framework. It reminds us yoga isn't about escaping life. It's about living with awareness, courage, and compassion. 3 texts from the heart of yoga philosophy: the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, a collection of 196 short verses written around 400 BC. They outline the 8 limbs of yoga, describing yoga as both a practice and a state of being. The Bhagavad Gita, part of the great Indian epic, the Mahabharata. Here, the warrior Arjuna learns from the Krishna about duty, devotion, and the path of selfless action. The Upanishads, mystical writings exploring the nature of the soul, the universe, and the ultimate reality, known as Brahman. These texts don't give rigid rules. Instead, they offer a map: how to live with wisdom, act with clarity, and ultimately free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. One of the most practical frameworks in yoga philosophy is the 8 limbs. Think of them as steps on a path, not necessarily linear, but interconnected. Yamas, ethical guidelines, how we relate to the world; nonviolence, truth; non-stealing, moderation; non-possessiveness. Niyamas, personal practices, how we care for ourselves; purity, contentment, discipline, self-study, and devotion. Asana, postures, preparing the body for stillness. Pranayama, breath work, harnessing life force through breath. Pratyahara, withdrawal from the senses, turning inward away from constant distractions. Dharana, concentration, training the mind to stay steady. Dhyana, meditation, moving from effort to effortless presence. Samadhi, union, the ultimate absorption where the sense of separation dissolves. The 8 limbs remind us that yoga is a holistic path: body, breath, mind, spirit, and heart working together. Philosophy may sound abstract, but yoga insists it must be lived. Take ahisma, the principle of nonviolence. It doesn't only mean avoiding harm physically, it's also about kindness in speech, gentleness in thought, compassion in daily choices. Or consider santosha, contentment. In a world that constantly tells us we need more, santosha teaches us to pause and appreciate what is already here. These teachings aren't about perfection, they're about direction toward a life that feels lighter, cleaner, and more aligned. The Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue between Arjuna, a warrior in despair, and Krishna, his divine guide. Arjuna doesn't want to fight. He feels torn between duty and morality, fear and courage. Krishna teaches him 3 main paths: karma yoga, the path of action, serving without attachment to results; bhakti yoga, the path of devotion, surrendering to love and faith; jnana yoga, the path of wisdom, seeking truth through knowledge and self-inquiry. This 2,000-year-old story reflects our modern struggles. We may not stand on a battlefield, but we often face choices that test our values, courage, and purpose. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras begin with one of the most famous lines: yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. When our minds are restless, distracted, or reactive, we suffer. When we learn to steady the mind through breath, practice, and awareness, we experience peace. The sutras don't promise to remove life's challenges. They promise something deeper, clarity amidst the noise. Yoga is not only about what we do on the mat, it's about how we live off the mat. The yamas and niyamas, those first two limbs, are the ethical heart of yoga. They invite us to live in harmony with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. Imagine if your yoga practice was measured not by your flexibility, but by your patience, your honesty, and your ability to listen with compassion. That's yoga philosophy in action. At the deepest level, yoga philosophy is about liberation, called moksha or kaivalya, liberation from cycles of fear, craving, and illusion. It doesn't mean withdrawing from the world. It means living fully in the world, but with clarity, knowing that who we are is larger than our thoughts, roles, or possessions. When we see ourselves as connected to the whole, compassion naturally grows. So, why study yoga philosophy today? Because our world is noisy, fast, and often confusing. These ancient teachings remind us that peace doesn't come from the outside, it's cultivated within. They give us tools for resilience, compassion, and presence, no matter what life throws our way. Yoga philosophy isn't about becoming someone else, it's about remembering who you already are, spacious, aware, and deeply connected. So when you step onto your mat or sit quietly to meditate, remember this. You're stepping into a tradition that's thousands of years old. Yoga philosophy is more than words on a page. It's a living guide, a compass pointing us toward clarity, compassion, and freedom. Bring these teachings into your practice, into your choices, into your heart, and see how they reshape not only your yoga, but your life.